Hi, this is Tom Charlesworth, a 27-year-old bodybuilder who injured his right pec during a training session in the gym, and he's agreed to do an interview regarding the injury with me today. Firstly, Tom, just a quick little bit of background.
Yeah.
How many years have you been training?
I've trained for 8 years now.
So prior to the injury, what were your main goals for coming in the gym?
Yeah, so at first it was just recovering from an injury, leg injury, and then carried on, got the gym bug, building muscle, and I got a bit of muscle growth, and then sort of carried on from there. And then I had an idea of competing, but sort of put it back every year because never quite big enough, are you?
And what sort of training, what sort of sets and rep scheme did you use? Was it just targeting individual body parts and that sort of training, doing a split during the week?
Yeah, it's always been sort of training 1 or 2 body parts per session, sort of high volume. I've dabbled in high intensity training before in the past, so less volume, but then sort of more volume seems to work better. Higher reps for me, like 15, 20 reps. But I also do like heavy training as well, so mix it up a bit every week sort of thing.
Going into the injury, if you can just give us a bit of detail about what you were doing at the time and how it occurred.
Yeah, so I started training with someone else, my mate Kev, for a while, and he's sort of always trained a bit of powerlifting background, so he's used to go heavy, and he had me doing singles, so we've been building up for sort of 4 or 5 weeks.
And what was that on? Was that on specific exercise?
Yeah, it's been like a bench press, squat, a deadlift, a shoulder press, and we've been building up for a few weeks and getting heavier and heavier and stronger, and everything strength skyrocketed. And then got to the bench press, and unfortunately went a bit too heavy and popped the chest. Right. Yeah.
Was that doing like a 1 rep max?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I worked up to 155 kilo, which I did fine. So I thought another 5 kilo should be able to do that, and the 5 kilo extra, that was what did it.
At what point did the injury occur during the lift? And can you describe how it felt? Was it any noise or?
So I left the weight off, and then as I started lowering it down, it's probably about halfway to 3/4 of the way down, I felt a massive whip, sort of whipped off my chest, and I just thought, oh, wow, what was that? And unfortunately, Kev was there, pulled the weight up with me, and I knew something was torn straight away. It's like a seatbelt sort of ripping off, if you like.
Was performing a 1 rep max on the bench press, was that sort of fairly novel occurrence? You said you've been sort of doing some more powerlifting based training.
It was really, yeah, because I never used to train like that at all. I used to train sort of higher reps, always sort of train like that. Never really done bench pressing, to be honest. Yeah, every now and again, sort of stuck to dumbbells and done more incline work. And then Kev got me on the bench press, flat bench, and then so not really that used to doing bench press really. Yeah.
So when they actually, like say, this whipping, the pain on your chest, or the injury actually occurred, was it a painful sort of, on a scale of 1 to 10 being the highest pain you've ever experienced?
Initially, yeah, probably about an 8 straight away. It was a massive whip, and I thought, wow, that hurts, that does. But then the pain sort of subsided for a bit. It wasn't until about 20, 30 minutes later it started really burning, and that's when I was in quite a bit of pain actually, yeah, so it got a lot worse.
Right. And did you go to accident and emergency straight away? Or?
Yeah, in straight away, yeah. And they sort of was waiting there for a bit, so I was actually sort of cradling in the waiting room for a bit. It was really intensely burning. It was painful. It was, just sort of sit it out.
And when you got seen by probably like a triage nurse or someone in accident emergency, did they give you an initial diagnosis or?
So they weren't great. They didn't have a specialist on there at the time. It was a bank holiday, remember, so I don't think the main people went in. He looked at it, just got me to do a few arm movements. You can see there's a hole there, and he wasn't looking right. And he just sort of said, right, it's obviously muscle damage, but we don't know what the underlying problem is. So you have to come back in a week's time, have an X-ray, and set you off and go for a scan maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you got home that night and sort of going into the next day, what did you sort of notice about the injury?
Well, as soon as I got home, I noticed there was like a little black lump straight away right in the corner, and that just got bigger and bigger. And the first night, it was just a lot of pain. Yeah, they put me in like a little sling for the time being, and it was just like really burning. So I was icing it, keeping it elevated. And then,
did you get any swelling around it as well? And was your range of movement affected in the arm?
Yeah, every little movement was just really painful. It felt really tight, and the swelling went down the arm a bit, and bruising was just all around. It sort of grew around my chest. It didn't come too much on my chest, it was more under the chest and at the top a little bit, and it was mainly the bicep which covered.
Good stuff. And when that injury had occurred, what was your initial feelings and thoughts regarding it? Were you just like, oh no, my life's over, or?
So the initial thought was, oh, why have we done that? Why did I push it another 5 kilo? Why just leave it at 155? And I just thought then this is going to be something serious. I'm going to need some time out for this. That's obviously the initial regret there. I thought another setback, which you don't need.
So after the initial visit to A&E, you went to, you got a referral to?
Yeah, I was back to Lane Hospital again to see a specialist, a surgeon. So I went to see him the week after, and he confirmed that he was like, he's pretty sure it was a tendon detachment. He wanted to set me off for a scan.
So an MRI scan? Or?
Yes, MRI scan, yeah. Yeah, that was about 2 weeks after that, so I had to wait about a month for the MRI scan.
Excellent. And what was his diagnosis, and could he tell from the MRI and the tests that he did that it was the tendon pulled from the bone? Or?
It actually pulled off the bone, it was cut in the middle, it was detached in the middle, yeah. He didn't actually tell me that, so I don't know if he found that out from the scan or not, but until actually he operated me later on.
What options did the surgeon give you at the time? Did he offer you sort of like a non-surgical approach with rehab, or was surgical approach straight in there? Or?
I was surprised actually. He just sort of tried to talk me out of having surgery. I was quite surprised the way he came across it. And he was sort of dismissing it really, because it was the gym, nothing to do with work. My own sort of fault. He was just sort of saying, I can't see it working. He was, all that sort of stuff. And I was a bit surprised really about that. So I read up quite a bit about it, and obviously read up people were saying the sooner of the operation, the better it is, the longer you leave it. He didn't seem too bothered, so he actually talked me out of it, and I came home thinking I'll leave it. I'll just sort of do rehab and try and build it back up.
And how long was it after like the initial injury? Did you actually have the surgery?
So in May, and natural surgery started in August. So it's 4 months into that, yeah.
So you had the surgery done, and were you given physio after that?
So I saw the physio, it was only 2 times. Just some sort of stretch exercises and sort of, piece of door, chest out, stuff like that, and hanging. Wasn't a great deal, like there was no weights involved or anything like that, just movement really. Right,
and did they immobilise it immediately after the injury? Or?
Yes, and it was in blue one of them casts for 2 weeks it was.
So when you went back after sort of post-surgery, post-operative, was the surgeon happy with the results?
No, he wasn't. No, not happy at all. He looked at it, and from an initial point of view, I had my arm down like that, so I wasn't tensed or nothing, and the chest looked all right. Obviously, you can see it wasn't full where it attached to the top. Then as I sort of brought my elbow in, it tenses up and the chest pulls in, and he saw straight away, he said, not really, it's not done anything, apart from reattach the tendon.
So, and how do you feel about how it looks now, sort of aesthetically? Are you happy with the results, or are you unhappy?
Yeah, I'm saying I'm unhappy really, because obviously going to surgery, that's the whole reason was to hopefully pull my chest back and look how it was beforehand. And I've seen people have done before, and they have actually been able to perform that. But now it's still looks like it was before surgery. No change aesthetically at all really.
And so how many months down the line are we now from surgery?
Right, so it's February now, so it's 6 months. 6 months, yeah. Yeah.
And how has it affected your strength? How's your range of movement now?
Right, so I do everything pretty well, to be honest with you, apart from sort of pressing exercises, where on chest, it just feels like it's really pulling tight when on the negative part, and when we press it up, you can feel it sort of, it's a dull ache, and it fatigues a lot quicker than the other side.
Months down the line, and with hindsight, that wonderful thing, what are your thoughts, feelings, regrets on the injury?
So regrets really, yeah, just going too heavy really. Never done that sort of training before in the past. One rep maxes. A lot of people do this, a lot of ego lifting it's called, isn't it? And I've never really been into that. Obviously did it. Yeah, I regret doing it. Obviously it's left me with this now, but just have to get on with it now and try and sort of work around it.
One final question, Tom. Will you ever bench press again?
I have bench pressed again since, just 10 kilo either side, and I don't think I'll ever go sort of below 8 reps on the bench press ever again. So.
Good stuff. Tom, thanks for your time with that. Hope your recovery and the injury all goes well. and all the best for the future.
Thanks very much, mate. Cheers.